Why was I the only one who didn't know my boyfriend had 3 other girlfriends? I found out my boyfriend of 5 years was getting married in 6 weeks, and I wasn't the bride. The private investigator who showed up at my door wasn't there for me. She was hired by his actual fiancé. Turns out I was the Sunday through Wednesday girlfriend while she got Thursday through Saturday, and neither of us knew the other existed. He'd stolen over $70,000 between us for a fake startup that was never real. So I did what any rational woman would do. I bought the ugliest thrift store wedding dress I could find and crashed their engagement party with a folder full of evidence. What happened next made his mother drop her wine glass and him faceplant into his own engagement cake. So I've been lying in my new apartment, scrolling through old photos, trying to figure out when exactly I became the punchline to someone else's joke. Spoiler alert. It was 5 years ago when I met Marcus at that overpriced artisan coffee shop where he accidentally spilled his oat milk latte on my laptop. He was so apologetic, so charming, immediately offering to pay for repairs and insisting on buying me coffee to make up for it. He had this whole thing about being a startup entrepreneur, working on the next big tech innovation, bootstrapping his way to success. My dumb marketing professional heart ate it up with a spoon. Looking back, the red flags were there from day one. He always paid in cash because credit cards are financial slavery. His apartment was always mysteriously unavailable because of renovations that keep getting delayed. He could only do dinner on specific nights because his investor meetings had unpredictable schedules. But I was 28, tired of dating apps, and convinced I'd finally met someone ambitious and driven. Fast forward 5 years. We're living together. Well, sort of. Marcus stays at my place 4 nights a week but keeps his apartment for office space, since his startup requires focus and my place is apparently too distracting. I've never seen this apartment. Not once in 5 years. He says it's embarrassing, basically unfurnished, not fit for company. Another red flag I painted green. Here's what I've contributed to this relationship. $43,000 in startup investments that would totally pay off once his company took off, covering 100% of our living expenses when he stayed at my place, planning every vacation that he often canceled last minute, being understanding when he missed my birthday, my promotion celebration, and my father's retirement party because of crucial investor pitches. 3 weeks ago, I was working from home when a woman showed up at my door. Professional looking, probably mid-30s, holding a tablet and wearing an expression that made my stomach drop. "Are you Jessica?" she asked. When I said yes, she handed me the tablet. "I'm a private investigator. My client hired me to document this address and its occupants. I'm not supposed to show you this, but..." She turned the tablet toward me. Photos. Dozens of photos. Marcus with another woman. Marcus kissing another woman. Marcus at what looked like a family gathering with this woman. Marcus and this woman looking at houses with a realtor. I must have gone pale because the PI actually looked concerned. "How long have you been seeing Marcus Chen?" 5 years. We live together. Well, he stays here most of the week. Her expression shifted to something like pity. "My client is Vanessa Chen. She's been engaged to Marcus for 2 years. They're getting married in 6 weeks." The world tilted sideways. The PI, whose name was Caroline, sat with me for an hour. Turns out Vanessa had gotten suspicious when Marcus's work trips became more frequent. She'd hired Caroline 3 months ago. Caroline had documented Marcus's entire double life. Sunday through Wednesday with Vanessa at their shared condo across town. Thursday through Saturday at my place, using investor meetings and startup work to explain his absences to both of us. But it got worse. So much worse. The startup didn't exist. Marcus worked a regular sales job at a tech company, the same company where Vanessa worked in HR, which is how they met. The startup investments I'd made, gone. Probably spent on the engagement ring he'd given Vanessa, their condo down payment, and funding his double life. Caroline told me Vanessa had no idea about me either. She thought Marcus traveled for work and stayed at extended stay hotels. The PI had been hired to confirm if he was cheating, not to uncover a full-second relationship. "What are you going to do?" Caroline asked. I didn't know. I was numb. But then she said something that changed everything. Their engagement party is this Saturday at the Riverside Event Hall. Her parents are flying in from Singapore. It's a big deal. After Caroline left, I did what any rational person would do. I spiraled. I looked through every photo, every text, every moment of the past 5 years trying to figure out what was real. The answer? Probably nothing. My best friend Mira came over that night. I'd called her sobbing incoherently, and she'd left work early. When I showed her everything, she went through her own stages of grief before landing on rage. We're going to destroy him, she said simply. I don't know if Jess, he stole 5 years of your life and $43,000. We're going to destroy him. I'd never seen Mira like this. She's usually the peaceful one, the mediator. But apparently financial fraud and emotional manipulation were her breaking point. We started planning. And this is where I either became a legend or a villain depending on your perspective. First, I created a fake email account and reached out to Vanessa. I didn't identify myself, just asked if she was marrying Marcus Chen and if she'd be interested in some information about her fiancé's business activities. She responded within an hour, clearly confused, but intrigued. I sent her everything. Photos of Marcus at my apartment, screenshots of texts where he called me baby and my love, copies of bank transfers I'd made to his startup, evidence of every lie. She didn't respond immediately, and I wondered if she'd dismissed it as someone trying to sabotage her wedding. But then, at 2 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Jessica? A woman's voice, shaking slightly. Yes. This is Vanessa. I need to meet you. Tomorrow. Please. We met at a neutral coffee shop. Not the one where Marcus accidentally spilled his latte on my laptop. I couldn't stomach that. A corporate chain where everything was impersonal and fluorescent. Vanessa looked like she hadn't slept. Neither had I. We sat across from each other, two women who'd been dating the same man, and compared notes. The details were sickening in their precision. Marcus had told Vanessa he traveled Sunday through Wednesday for regional sales meetings. He told me he had investor dinners Thursday through Saturday. Neither of us had ever called his work phone because he claimed it was for business only, and he kept work-life boundaries sacred. The apartment he kept for office space didn't exist. He'd been splitting time between Vanessa's condo and my apartment for years. I gave him $30,000 last year, Vanessa said quietly. He said it was for medical bills from a surgery. His insurance supposedly didn't cover it. He told me his startup needed capital for a patent filing, I said. Took $15,000 just for that. We sat in silence, calculating. Between us, Marcus had extracted over $70,000, plus years of free housing, meals, emotional labor, and whatever else we'd provided while he lived his double life. The engagement party is in 4 days, Vanessa said finally. Everyone I know will be there. My family is flying internationally for this. Are you canceling? She looked at me with an expression I recognized from my own mirror, hurt wrapped in fury. Oh, I'm not canceling, but it's going to be a very different kind of party. Here's what we did, and I'm not proud of all of it, but I'm also not sorry. Vanessa didn't cancel the engagement party. She confirmed everything: venue, caterer, the works. Marcus had no idea she knew. She played along perfectly for 4 days, letting him think everything was fine. I, meanwhile, went shopping. At a thrift store, I found a wedding dress. Not a nice one. One of those puffy, yellowed, probably from the 80s monstrosities that looked like it had survived 3 floods and a fire. It was perfect. Saturday arrived. Marcus told me he had an important investor dinner and wouldn't be available all weekend. He told Vanessa. Actually, he didn't have to lie to her because she knew exactly where he'd be. The engagement party started at 6 p.m. I arrived at 7:30 after everyone had settled in with drinks, after Marcus had presumably given some charming speech about loving Vanessa, after the toasts had begun. I walked into that event hall wearing that ridiculous thrift store wedding dress, holding a folder of printed evidence, with Mira beside me recording everything on her phone. The room went silent, like movie scene silent. Marcus saw me and the color drained from his face. He actually grabbed the back of a chair to steady himself. "Sorry I'm late," I announced to the room. Traffic was terrible, but I wouldn't miss celebrating Marcus's engagement for anything. Vanessa stood up from the head table, and the look she gave Marcus could have stripped paint. "Jessica, I'm so glad you could make it. Marcus has told me so much about you." The confusion in the room was palpable. People were looking between Marcus, Vanessa, and me, trying to understand the dynamic. "Marcus," Vanessa continued, her voice steady despite her hands shaking, "why don't you introduce Jessica to my parents? Since you two have been living together for 5 years, you could hear people gasp." Marcus's mother actually dropped her wine glass. "I can explain," Marcus started, but Vanessa cut him off. "Can you explain why you proposed to me while you were living with another woman? Can you explain the $30,000 you borrowed from me for fake medical bills? Can you explain having 2 phones, 2 lives, 2 women stupid enough to believe you?" She wasn't crying. I wasn't crying. We'd done our crying earlier in the week. This was something else entirely. Marcus tried several approaches. Denial didn't work with 2 women standing there. Claiming I was a crazy stalker, Vanessa held up his keys to my apartment, saying it was complicated. Vanessa's father, a terrifyingly calm man, told him to shut up. Mira, bless her, had been circulating through the crowd handing out printed summaries of Marcus's lies. Bank statements, timeline comparisons, the works. We'd prepared a whole dossier. Marcus's attempt to leave was blocked by Vanessa's brothers. They didn't touch him. They just stood at the exit looking very large and very unhappy. "You owe Jessica $43,000, Vanessa announced. "You owe me $30,000. You owe this venue $8,000, which I'm not paying for a party that's now a public shaming event. What do you have to say?" Marcus, cornered and panicking, tried to bolt through the kitchen. He made it approximately 15 feet before tripping over his own feet and crashing into the dessert table. The image of him covered in engagement cake while wearing his designer suit will sustain me through many difficult days ahead. The party dissolved into chaos. Vanessa's family was mortified but supportive of her. Marcus's family was horrified, and to their credit, several of them apologized to both of us. His mother actually cried and tried to write me a check, which I declined. Marcus eventually left, covered in frosting, threatening lawsuits that his own lawyer cousin told him he'd lose given the documented fraud. The best part? Vanessa's father is a corporate attorney. He was very interested in the documentation of financial fraud we'd compiled. Very interested. That was 3 weeks ago. Here's where everything stands. Marcus is facing actual legal consequences. Vanessa's father connected us with his firm, and they're pursuing civil charges for the money both of us invested in his fake startup. Apparently, there are also some tax implications for unreported income that the IRS might be interested in. Vanessa and I have become unlikely friends. We meet for coffee every week, therapy sessions for survivors of financial narcissists, as we call ourselves. It's darkly hilarious that Marcus's greatest accomplishment was accidentally introducing 2 women who are now supporting each other through the aftermath of his garbage behavior. The video Mira took has been viewed by basically everyone we know mutually with Marcus. His reputation is destroyed. He got fired from his actual job after his manager, Vanessa's colleague, learned about his sustained campaign of lying and financial manipulation. His mother reached out to both of us separately to apologize and offer restitution. Turns out Marcus had been running smaller cons on his family too, borrowing money for fake emergencies, claiming hardships that didn't exist. She's been in denial about her son's character for years, but was apparently shaken enough by the engagement party disaster to face reality. I moved to a new apartment. Smaller, but it's mine and mine alone. No ghosts of fake entrepreneurs haunting the living room. I've started therapy to unpack why I accepted so many red flags for so long. The answer is complicated, but boils down to, I valued being understanding more than being respected. My $43,000, will probably never get all of it back, But the legal pressure has resulted in Marcus setting up a payment plan. It'll take years, but at least it's something. Best part of all this? 2 days after the engagement party incident, I got a message from another woman. Is this the Jessica who crashed Marcus Chen's engagement party? Because I think I might be his girlfriend too. Her name was Amanda. She'd been seeing Marcus casually for 8 months. He'd told her he was divorced and taking things slow. She'd seen the videos circulating on social media and recognized him. 3 women. This man was juggling 3 women, plus his job, plus maintaining elaborate lies to everyone in his life. The organizational skills could have been impressive if they weren't being used for evil. Amanda joined our coffee group. We call ourselves the Marcus Survivors Club, and honestly, it's therapeutic. We've helped each other identify manipulation tactics we missed, red flags we explained away, moments where we knew something was wrong but talked ourselves out of trusting our instincts. Last week, Marcus tried to message me. A long, rambling apology about how he got caught up in maintaining appearances and never meant to hurt anyone and struggled with commitment issues stemming from childhood trauma. I blocked him without responding. My therapist says engaging with narcissists only feeds their need for attention and control. Besides, I had nothing to say to him that wouldn't land me in legal trouble. Vanessa, on the other hand, had a lawyer respond to his message with a reminder about the ongoing civil case and a suggestion that he save his explanations for the judge. I'm not going to lie and say I'm completely healed or that everything is perfect now. I still have moments where I wonder how I missed so many signs. I still feel angry about the wasted years and stolen money. I still catch myself making excuses for him before remembering that none of it was my fault. But I also feel lighter. The constant low-level anxiety of trying to understand Marcus's contradictions is gone. I'm not walking on eggshells around someone's schedule anymore. I'm not defending his absences to my friends and family. I'm not explaining why my ambitious entrepreneur boyfriend never seems to have any money. My new apartment has a balcony where I've started growing herbs. Mira jokes that I've traded one project for another, but at least basil plants are honest about their needs and don't steal your money. The Marcus Survivors Club went out last weekend. We got dressed up, went to a nice restaurant, and toasted to our freedom with overpriced wine. A guy at the bar tried to buy us drinks, and we politely declined. Amanda joked that we're all retired from dating, and honestly, for now, that feels right. My advice, if you're listening this and seeing red flags in your own relationship, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. If you're making excuses for someone's behavior, ask yourself why you're working so hard to explain away their actions instead of them working to be trustworthy. Don't be like me, ignoring 5 years of inconsistencies because you want to believe you found someone special. Don't be like Vanessa, planning a future with someone while ignoring signs that they're not who they claim to be. And definitely don't be like Amanda, accepting taking it slow as an excuse for someone keeping you at arm's length. We all deserved better than Marcus. And now we're all working on believing we deserve better than any Marcus, in whatever form they take. As for that ridiculous wedding dress, I kept it. It hangs in my closet as a reminder that sometimes the best revenge is showing up exactly as messy and chaotic as the situation deserves, refusing to play by the rules someone else set, and reclaiming your narrative even when it means looking ridiculous. Plus, it'll make one hell of a Halloween costume. Thanks for reading this disaster of a love story. If my experience helps even one person recognize the signs of financial and emotional manipulation, then maybe those 5 years weren't completely wasted. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a date with my couch, a bottle of wine, and a documentary about literally anything other than lying con artists masquerading as entrepreneurs. To everyone out there, you deserve someone who shows up, consistently, honestly, without requiring you to explain away their absences or excuse their behavior. Don't settle for less. I did, and look where it got me. Standing in a thrift store wedding dress at my boyfriend's engagement party to someone else, holding a folder of evidence like I was about to present a thesis on Why Men Are Trash, a 5-year case study. 0 stars. Would not recommend, but at least I got a good story out of it, and my basil plants are thriving.